Good morning, folks. It seems that we're getting a few people logged in here today, so thank you very much for joining us. We're gonna get started here in just a couple of minutes. Thank you all for joining.
Okay.
So good afternoon, everyone, and a warm welcome to today's webinar, Enhancing Museum Visits with AI and Smart Technology, the Future of Visitor Engagement, organized by Pigeon-Tech. My name is Michael Halbert, and I'm honored to serve as your moderator. And whether you're joining us from a museum, a university, a tech startup, or simply as a passionate visitor, we're delighted to have you here today. The world of museums is undergoing a remarkable transformation. Traditionally, museums have been seen as a repository of history and culture, quiet, contemplative spaces where visitors could observe and reflect. But in recent years, the rapid advancement of artificial intelligence and smart technology has begun to reshape the very fabric of the museum experience. Today, museums are not just places to view artifacts. Today, museums are becoming dynamic, interactive environments that foster learning, creativity, and engagement on entirely new levels. Why is this transformation happening now? There are several driving forces. First, the expectation of museum visitors are changing. People want more than a passive observation. They seek a personalized, immersive experience that connects with their interests and backgrounds. Secondly, technology has matured to a point where tools like AI-powered guides, interactive displays, and data-driven visitor analytics are not just only a possibility, but are increasingly accessible and affordable for institutions of all sizes. During this webinar, we'll explore how AI and smart technologies are being used, personalized tours and content for each visitor, making every museum trip unique, break down barriers to accessibility, ensuring that everyone, regardless of ability, can fully engage with collections, streamline museum operations from exhibit curation to crowd management and safety, and foster a deeper connection between museums and their communities through digital engagement and social media. We'll also discuss the challenges that come with this technological evolution. Questions like privacy, inclusivity, and the need for thoughtful integration that respects both the artifacts and the audiences. Our goal today is to inspire you with real-world examples, practical insights, and forward-thinking strategies that you can bring back to your own institutions or professional practices. We encourage you to participate actively, ask questions, share your experiences, and connect with fellow attendees. Before we begin, here's a few housekeeping notes. The session will be recorded for those who wish to revisit this discussion. Please use the Q&A feature to submit your questions at any time, and we'll address as many as possible during the discussion segment of the meeting. Now, let's embark on this journey into the future of museums where technology and tradition work hand in hand to create richer, more meaningful visitor experiences. Thank you for being here, and let's get started. It's my distinct pleasure to introduce our guest speaker today, Mr. Gabriel Matesun, a distinguished museum professional whose expertise bridges the world's heritage, technology, and community engagement. Gabriel is a higher museum officer and curator at the Department of Archaeology and Anthropology, University of Ibadan, Nigeria. With over 15 years of experience in museum and cultural heritage management, he has become a leader figure in curatorial practices, artifact preservation, cataloging, and notably the digitalization of museum collections. Gabriel's academic credentials are actually as impressive as his practical achievements. He holds an MS in computer science, a master's in information science, and a BS in computer and information science. This unique blend of technology and museology experience has enabled him to pioneer innovative approaches to integrating technology into research and museum operations. Among his accomplishments, Gabriel has played a pivotal role in major projects such as Reorg Nigeria Initiative, which successfully restructured museum systems and developed digital tools for artifact documentation. He is currently leading a 3-year digitalization project and training programs aimed at advancing museum practices within the university across Nigeria. Gabriel is deeply passionate about fostering community engagement and promoting knowledgeable dissemination through innovative media. His work exemplifies how museums can serve as vibrant centers for learning, collaboration, and cultural exchange in the digital age. Please join me in welcoming Gabrielle, whose insights and experience will undoubtedly enrich our conversation today. Gabrielle?
All right, thank you. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. I really appreciate that. Michael, I give it to you. Thank you. I want to welcome all from here around the world for this webinar discussion. It's a privilege, I consider a privilege from Pigeon-Tech for inviting me to speak in this webinar session. So thank you very much. Taking us to the discussion, enhancing museum visits with AI and smart technology. The emphasis today will be on the future of visitor engagement. Museum without visitor is not a good one. So the trend is changing. I'm on introduction now. I hope you can see my slide. Can you put on my slide, please?
There you go.
All right. So introduction, why this topic? Why do you want to talk about this particular topic? In this kind of scenario, museums are evolving. We now begin to have a new generation of young people, audience that want to see things digitized. And with the help of AI, smartphones, smart technology, this trend is changing very fast. So museum has to follow, get involved. New tools that enhance engagement, accessibility, and efficiency is right now with us. So why don't we bring that to the museum so that we can give the best of our culturality to our audience? And visitors are full of expectation. They expect their image on the museum to personalize, to interact, to show an interactive experience with them, and to they want to be part of it. Inclusivity is very important. So these three things are very important for us to, for any viable museum around the world to showcase. Personalize to your visitor, get interactive with them, and you get them inclusive in what you're doing. So what is the objective of this webinar? What is our, what are we targeting like? We want to explore AI-driven innovations in the museum. We want museum to now explore this AI to drive the museum, to the visitor, to the staff, and to the community. And that's what we want to achieve through this discussion. Another point is that how AI and smart technology can revolutionize visitor engagement. What do I mean by revolutionize? Visitor is always with museum. Museum is also waiting for visitor to come. But it's high time we go beyond the regimentary status quo. We want them to change that thinking, make your visitor to get access to your museum 24/7. We have different time bound all over the world. So when the museum closed, that means it's closed for all. Or somebody in Asia, somebody in Africa, somebody in America, at different time zone can visit your museum. The other part is to improve operational efficiency. How do we improve our efficiency? With the staffs, with our archivists, with our professionals in the museum, we can improve our efficiency without being workload that is depreciating, affecting our performances. So another point we want to achieve is to increase visitor satisfaction. This is one of the wonderful part of it. The visitor, they want to keep coming to your museum. If you're able to give them what they want, you engage them, you give them, you will even see your museum now and then and over in a wonderful way, not just static. Then we want to achieve that. They want to engage the community. Community engagement is what? Who has those material in your store? The cultural heritage you have belongs to some people. Why don't you engage them, bring them up on board to see their own cultural heritage being showcased with their own storytelling? This is what we intend to achieve. So, and I want to say this as we move to the next slide. Smart technology in museum. This is very important. There are some key technology that will be now all around us. IoT, sensor network, that's number 1 point. Internet of Things and sensor network. This device monitors visitors flow and media tour for museum and visitors. So these are the internet device being used, or key technology being used to ascertain the flow of visitors into your museum. Showing a multimedia tour with little appearance of staffs. They're able to showcase how the museum's like. In a summary, at entering the museum, they can see the entire museum. And they know, okay, I want to go this way, I want to go this way. So IoT and sensor network, you guide your people, you guide your visitors, your audience to know which path to take right there in your museum. So another point I want to mention is beacon and location-based technology. This allows museum to push location-specific content to visitors through their smartphone. When you're able to have this, visitor will tell you, I want to see the Queen crown, I want to see Queen Elizabeth crown, I want to see Queen King Susu crown, I want to see this material, and they have showcased that before they come. On getting to the museum, right there on their smartphone, we tell you turn right to see this, turn left to this to see terracotta, turn move a step forward, and right there is telling them your location without anybody pushing anybody around. You have less stress, the security is not involved, the staff are not involved, and they only have to do other things. Not that you are silencing them, but the technology has enhanced its function. Somebody must have programmed that for them, and the curator and the IT guy must have worked together to guide people around to see how to move around. Fulcrum Palace and Broken Museum, among others, has adopted beacon technology. They were able to have that in the palace, Museum Palace, and the Brooklyn Museum in the US. So they have that facility in place. So it's no longer it's not practicable. It is now right here with us. So punch number 5 is AR and VR, augmented and virtual reality tools overlays additional content and creates lost heritage sites. There have been cases of where we wanted to fill up hidden story or a story that's not well completed, but we have an idea how it looks like. This device can simulate, generate, and recreate that the environment simulation to complete that story, and it gives the audience a full perception of the entire thing. So you can't just be keep telling them over and over. They were struggling to create the imagery. But right there, this tool, VR, augmented and virtual reality tools, we're able to simulate that broken part of your part, can create that broken part of the landscape where it was encroached in the Viking century, and bring it out to you. So with this device, we can also bring around what we want to be for our audience to have, and to have the full understanding of their cultural background. Number 4 of it is RFID, radio frequency identification, and NFC, that's near frequency communication. This is very useful in a big museum where we have to communicate between a large part of the museum, in the staircase, in the lower case, and around us. Probably going to send information for tracking objects, for security, for interactive points touch in the museum management. So this device is very important. Your artifact in your store is tracked for security reason. Communicating between the security network in the museum, you don't have to shout, you don't have to run the stairs 4 times. You can have it with you, communicate yourself. These are wonderful devices that really help in museum management. And also number 5, I want to mention mobile apps. Wow, this is wonderful. Pigeon-Tech is one of the areas that's giving a light on that. That I've been able to discuss with some of their staff, and I see them coming out with the guided self-tour. Right there on your smartphone. If a museum has an that software, you can be able to go through the entry pass. If you are right there in the museum, you check in at the door, you see almost entire everything in the museum right there on your smartphone. And you are right here in your house, right here on the Caribbean island, and you are viewing a museum in Paris. So it's very important. So, and also that device has multilingual options. Wow. And that's another part of it, wonderful part of it, that you can check on any museum. I mean, you are speaking English, and in a French museum, the museum can interpret the language of the artifact you are reading for you in your own language. So there's no barrier to my language barrier. So this mobile app, this diverse option, it even allow you to social media sharing. You can show them, share, oh, I was in this museum today. You can take a picture of the artifact as if you're right there, and you can share with a friend, inviting them to go and check it out. So these are wonderful approaches to where mobile device and smart technology is performing a wonderful approaches in the museum, increasing our major point is future of the visitor in the museum. So the visitor engagements, that's the bottom line of discussion, can also be greatly be influenced, improved by smart technology in the museum. I will take the next slide. AI in visitor engagements. AI brings personalization and automation of museum to the museum experience. So your AI has really broadened the scope for visitors to get engaged when you personalize the museum visit. It gives you an automated idea of how can have a wonderful experience in the museum. And I have a few key applications that do that work for us. One of them is chat box and virtual assistants. For every visit to the museum, there'll be always a question. Some of us that are to the museum know that if there's a section in the museum, your audience asks a question, then there's a problem. So the moment for every visit in the museum, right from the starting point, the audience start asking questions, especially when there are young people, young audience, even the elderly ones, they ask questions. How does this happen to that? And before you know it, you end up asking questions without going to the next point. So not to deprive people from asking questions, from getting access to the next view or gallery or exhibition, then AI comes to chat box and virtual assistants. So it answers questions and queries, recommend exhibits, and provide content. So without the curator, without the tour guide getting worried about how to answer this question, your chat box and virtual assistant will give a wonderful answer to all your questions in the museum you have visited. So another part of it is natural language processing. Like I've said earlier, when I'm having multilingual options, these processes or this application help to translate content and engage visitor in their native language. Now, if you are probably you have an item from Zulu tribe, and they wanted to ask a question about their artifacts somewhere else, or a Zulu man came to British Museum asking a question in Zulu language and doesn't know how you're answering, the natural language process will interpret that for that man. Okay, your community has this material, it was excavated or it was brought from this part of your area. This is it in your own language. If another man comes from Asia, Japan, or China, asking a question about an item from a Yoruba land in Nigeria, you'll be able to answer that particular man in his own language. So this application, not NLP, does that content and translation to native language. Also, recommendation system. This suggests or collection based on visitor interest and behavior. Well, and that's one of AI. You're able to modify your interest on that. Just few 3 questions. Tell me your interest. Tell me your background. Tell me what you like. It can suggest to you. Oh, you would like to watch stone tools. You would like to watch terracotta. You would like to recognition. Right. Okay. Am I on?
Gabriel, this is Michael. I'm sorry to interrupt, but you kind of froze there for a moment, so I don't think the audience could hear what you just said a moment ago.
Where my line of thoughts? Where was that?
You froze about 10 seconds ago. Okay.
I'm sorry about that. Take last thoughts. I was talking about recommendation system. Did you get that?
Yes.
So I was about to move to computer vision. I can go on. Can I go on?
Yes, please.
Okay. Computer vision enables image recognition, provide object level information through smartphone cameras. So when we have installation of pictures, cameras around the museum, it's going to give a facial recognition to all visitors to the museum. So this gives a security sensation. Even right on your phone, your vision is captured. And this serves another way of security. It serves another way to identify the number of visitors to the museum. So I'll take the next slide. Changing landscape of museum. I'll just do a little paraphrase or comparison, but before then, I want to mention visitor expectation. I mentioned that should be personalization, to be convenience, and immersive storytelling. Now, every visitor now look forward to telling me a story about what I'm looking at, not just a static image, and nobody's telling anything. So it is important now we have an AI-enhanced interactive display telling the story of what we have. So the traditional idea is a static gallery, a static object, a static images. Nobody's telling us anything. But AI will bring an interactive display, a digitized, a 3D show, telling you story, a background history of that and likes. Another part of it is audio. It's traditional audio guide. Turn left, turn right. No, but now we can get involved in taking decision when you're in museum, when you use your AI-powered chatbot. So it really gives you a wonderful view of what you want, answer your question, tell you what next to see, and showing you what to get. So another part I want to mention is manual ticketing. Well, when I say it doesn't matter, it does. Museum that has large number of visitors have a big ethic time issuing tickets right at the door. But now when we have your tickets, smart kiosks, and facial recognition solve that problem. On your smartphone, you can book your schedule. I'm coming right here today by 12 o'clock. At 12 o'clock, then you get your access. So now it is no longer queue at the door looking for a guide that will share a ticket for you and you access. No. AI museum, AI enhanced museum have solved that problem by seeing your image, facial recognition, seeing your kiosk appointment, you are issue access to the museum. So also limited accessibility. It's all around that we have limited access to material, access to artifacts, to cultural heritage materials in the museum. Now by AV and virtual reality, we'll be able to experience the mass view of objects in the museum in 3 dimensions, higher view, lower view, rotating view. You can turn around object and see the pattern, the design on any artifact you want to see, or any object in the museum. Even your artistic drawing gallery, you're able to see a zoom shot, and then you shot in, you zoom out, you're able to watch beautifully from every angle you wish to see, and that gives audience that maximum satisfaction. Not that it's static, you want to say, please don't touch, don't move close. That kind of thing could be, sending away from coming subsequently. But you see on your smartphone, you can zoom to check the resolution of the object, to check the view, the wonderful design, the wonderful portrait or portrait, whichever one you want to check. It makes you feel you are part of the museum. So it really matters. So this landscape has changed, or is changing, or it has changed. It's left for us as curator, as museum professional, to begin to embrace this. I'm moving on to the next one. I have case study of AI in action. So all this we are saying, I want to justify that we have areas that it is really operational. I'll start with number one, the L'Oreal Museum in France. They have a major challenge of high visitor volume that leads to long time waiting for information. This is a very, very popular museum in France that people visit in large number. They embrace the solution. They deploy an AI chatbot for visitors that answers questions and give answers. So what's the result? It reduced staff workload by 30%. And guess what? It improves visitor satisfaction. So if in a museum, visitor comes and they come with a load of questions and that question was not answered, you won't be fulfilled. You won't enjoy that visit. So with the embrace of AI, they're able to achieve visitor satisfaction. And number two of that is Smithsonian Museum, or Smithsonian Institution in the US. They have an initiative of they use AR to bring fossils of dinosaurs to life. The dinosaurs have been extinct for years. I've watched Jurassic Park, but almost all the series. Why? Because I enjoyed the story. The AI was able to regenerate a lost generation, a lost century, and bring it to reality for us. We're able to watch movies of that. So even the museum, the augmented reality has bring together fossils of dinosaurs and to see how they were in the year past. So what was the outcome? Increased engagement by 45%, especially among young people. Not just young people. I'm happy I happen to be one of those people that enjoy the stories. So that was what AI does for us. The other point is Risk Museum in the Netherlands. The innovation was that AI-driven crowd management was envisaged, and they optimize visitors flow by foot traffic. For us in the museum, people follow the path, the more right center. So they were able to, with that AI crowd control management, they were able to generate foot paths that crowd will follow. Okay, if you're coming from section A, follow this path. If you're coming from section C, go to this side. So naturally, the crowd were controlling their museum because the AI was able to lead them to move with a particular path towards a particular object, to a particular gallery, to a particular, what they want to see. And that is what AI was talking about in British Museum. They use Smart Sort Guide with AI for real-time feedback and navigation assistance. It is very important in any museum that feedback from audience is very important. It's very, very important. Do you get, over time, I've seen museums, they put up books where people just write, comments, lovely, beautiful. I think the trend is changing, or it has changed. So feedback now is done wonderfully through AI, through your smartphone, through a device in the museum. You're able to quickly input your feedback before you go. And of course, it's also guards in navigating the museum. Of course, number 5, National Museum of China. Wow. So it's not only limited to Europe, it's not limited to US, United States, it's spread all over. They were able to implement facial recognition to enhance security and track visitors' preference. You wonder, there's always there's something called skill of preference. You are in a museum, just as you approach, so you decide to tilt so much a particular area to the particular area without being told. That told you that visitors have preference in how they choose object to view. So with this AI, they were able to know, okay, visitor always go this direction, Z, Y, Z, or T, B, A. So, and they were able to generate a facial recognition pattern for visitors to go that direction. And the feedback was what? People enjoy that trend. And that is possible through the introduction or the adoption of AI. Recently, I was in National Museum, Liverpool. There was this interactive audio guide engaging visitors, among others. It was lovely. The sound created a scenario as if it was right there what was happening in 18th century. The moment you approach that the stand, you hear the audio of a moving train. The moment you stay off, it stops. Or the moment you move to another object, Vicary or any generation that's passed, the story just come up telling you as if you are right there when it's happened. So this had a case study of what AI is doing in action. And I must tell you, next slide, smart technology. I want to emphasize that. Elevate storytelling. AI supports inclusivity. Smart technology to elevate storytelling, and AI support inclusivity. Interactive audio guides. This is achieved by to engage visitors through compelling, story-driven narrative about each exhibit, accessible through smartphone for seamless experiences or experience. So the moment you have that on your phone, you have that device, now you're able to tell the story of what you are viewing, how it's happened, what's happened thereafter, and the soothing music to fit that object you are watching will naturally come up to you. And that's the power of AI. Telling you the story, what happened, how what was to start, or how the Stone Age man began a movement, moving from Ice Age to Stone Age, probably to Iron Age. So these are the narrative story be given to you to get you, seamlessly involved in what is up there. So personalized digital avatar. This use an AI-powered avatar to serve an interactive guide. There's an object, you might likely put your own to guide as if you are right part of the museum. You generate an avatar for yourself, and you keep following other avatars right there in the museum. And this offering tailored information and dynamic engagements through your visit. So this will give you, because you're able to personalize your digital avatar as if you're right there. You see other people's avatar in the museum, and you put them together, and you're able to, have an information that guide you through engagement through your visits. I also emphasize this, leveraging AR experience, augmented reality. This enhanced exploration with interactive 3D maps, interactive objects, directional clues, and laid exhibition details that create an immersive and informative journey. And this is being a wonderful view of whatever you want to see in the museum. You can create a map of spreading from the early man, the Acheulean man, the Aquilian man, telling you how they were, this how they moved from this age to that age, and this how they migrated from China to India or from India to Bangladesh. Or you want to see how early man moved from Ethiopia or from Kenya to South Africa.
I'm sorry, audience. We may have momentarily lost Gabriel. Let's
Yeah,
just give Gabriel. We lost you there for a minute. I'm so sorry.
yeah.
You were on leveraging augmented reality,
All right.
and you just froze up on us.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. All right. I was talking about how interactive 3D maps will work on the museum and able to display how early man or Stone Age man was able to do the food gathering and hunter gathering. And that 3D map will generate and simulate for us to see how it moves from a particular region or from ice polar region to another region, or how this early man in the cave, Neanderthal man, or Homo sapiens sapien, was able to move from a cave to another cave in gathering, in building up to make food. So this is what leveraging augmented reality can do. Also, leveraging virtual reality immersion transport visitors into vivid virtual world that bring history, culture, and imagination to life for unforgettable museum experience. So this is what it could really do for us. Visitor we always want to see such, bringing the history of their forefathers, of their past generation, their culture, and give an imagination of it in an unforgettable moment in the museum. So this is very, very important. So I want to emphasize this next slide, that there are ethical and cultural considerations that we must factor in when we're doing all this. As beautiful as these ideas are, as wonderful as they are, as attractive as it is to us, they also raise important questions. And one of the questions are privacy and data protection. Museum must comply with regulation like general data protection regulation. And this is very common, and that's very virtual in European countries, to safeguard visitor data, either on smartphone or through generated AI or AI chatbots, whatever one. So privacy is very important. So we must not be off guard when it comes to that. So the museum object must also be kept in the right place. Also, the visitor coming must also be kept safe from third party. Also, cultural sensitivity. AI system must be trained on culturally inclusive data to avoid bias. So our bias is that it gives priority to the cultural material. It doesn't see it as one of those data that is thrown away, that doesn't manage very well. Cultural sensitivity, our AI system must be trained to give value for it. Also, I want to mention digital inequality. Technology should enhance accessibility, not to create barriers, not to create bias, not to create taking over humans. No, no. AI should support human-centered design principles. That is, enable deeper engagement. No, we should work together rather than replacing human interaction with machine. No, we should not do. Those are ethical issues that we must consider. Anywhere we want to implement this, we must consider this three key. It could be more, but I already summarized to three. But so these are key value or core value of what cultural, ethical consideration that must be given. So we must give kudos or consideration to all this. It's very important. I move to the next slide. Also, when we now want to feel, we want to implement, we want to engage ourselves, there will be basic, this should be the basic steps that I must consider. I call it steps because I just feel I must not leave us open-ended. I must take us to where, okay, I want to implement this in my school. I want to implement, sorry, my museum. Then the first thing to do, conduct a needs assessment. What do I mean by that? You must identify gaps in engagement and operations. Okay, we have large number of people in our museum. We want to engage them more. How do we do that? Then you begin to consider that our operation is not efficient enough. Which AI tool will I need to do? So we must first of all, as a museum professional, as a museum educator, as a museum curator, archivist, whichever area you are, you must first of all come to a place of needs assessment. And that is very important. What I mean by that? identify the gap in your museum and how do you want to engage it. Number two, engage stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? Your staff in your museum. Who are the stakeholders? The visitors in your museum. Who are the stakeholders? The community where you're a resident, the community where you're housing their objects should be part of the process. You must get them involved. Not that you have started and you're not thinking, let's get them involved. No, that's too late. You start with them from the scratch. Then you get the storyline, the storytelling, the object, the staff. You train and retrain the staff. You get the feedback from the visitor because you want to implement a new device. Number three is that select the right tool. This is very important. I must emphasize this. Not all museum needs virtual reality. Is that a shock? Yeah, it should be a shock. So don't think all objects in your museum will take virtual reality. No, if you don't need that, why do you want to do it? Choose tools that align with the mission and the audience. There are always a core value that every museum carries, irrespective of where they are located in the world. So you must choose a mission or tool, rather, you must choose a tool that align with the core values of your museum and your audience. Otherwise, there will be conflict of interest. So it's very important. So, and the final note, there's a pilot test and evaluation. You start small. I'm not saying you start with 100 objects. You can start with two, like when we are running here in University of Ibadan. We are starting with poetry material, and that we have started with just 50 poetry material. We place them on 3D, and we're doing a small exhibition of that. I want to iterate and scale on base evidence. Okay, let's see what people will say about it. Let's see, does the student like this view? Does the audience like this view? And that's what we're trying to do. So emphasis is that you start to generate a pilot test and evaluate. Okay, what's the feedback? Did they like it? So professional development is crucial. Curators, educators, and your IT staffs. You must say, we don't have an IT staff. You can collaborate. Pigeon-Tech is a friend in IT tech that can collaborate with, that will bring to co-create digital experience for your museum. So collaboration, co-creating digital experiences is very important. So, and that is possible to achieve. I want to talk about the role of education and community. I'm talking about museum education. Smartphone can transform museum education. How? By giving you an updated view of information about the museum, about the tools you're going to use. So, and by training and retraining this museum education with smart technology, AI, you don't need to be a computer science before you know how to do it. No, you don't have to do that. So somebody will be there to train and retrain your staff, get a little push, a little understanding of how it operates, and you're good to go. And your museum will retain its content with high evidence of visitor and with wonderful feedback. AI-powered storytelling, wow. And gamification can spark curiosity in young audiences. The Gen Z are waiting for a digitized view of things, good music, good objects, good participation, and wonderful engagement. So if you're able to tell a wonderful story with a good music that can give a background information, maybe it's a string, maybe a drum, a section of African style, or a funky one, whichever one that suits that object, and a gamification, just place this. You have a 3-star, you have 2 visits tomorrow. No, I'm telling you, the younger one want to come back again to watch that object. They want to come and visit your museum online. They want to go to your blog and make comments because you are using an high-power storytelling and gamification app to work for a young audience. Also, collaborating with local community to create digital exhibits that enhance or that ensure inclusivity and relevance. So collaborating with local communities is very important. They are the one that owns the object. You are keeping the object for them, they own it, and you are not getting involved. I'm sorry, you might not have it, you might not have a full story. Local community that you have kept their object for years, or you're telling a story, you cannot be best told by you, but by them. So when you get the story from them, the infographic you are doing, get them involved, find time to get them engaged with the objects, tell them the story, the description around the objects, the storyline, the artistic design. Why is this design from A, go to Z, to F, to E? They can tell you conveniently, oh, this is what our ancestors used to do, and that and this. And you have that story wonderfully, and you present it to your audience, it gives you a wonderful wonderful storytelling to your audience. So an example of such is when Google Arts and Culture allow institutions and users to collaborate, tell stories, and access high-resolution cultural content globally. So it's very important. We can also, our institution can also partners with those community to tell the cultural story of where they are or where they're going. So the future look or the future outlook, wow. It's very important that we know the next frontier should include what. Now, we've said this all, we've mentioned this smart technology, AI powered. So what should be our expectation? One, the predictive analytical or analysis for managing visitors flow and resource allocation. With the AI tools in our hand, we should be able to say in January, by the time it's June, we're going to have 500 audience or 500 visitors or 5,000 visitors coming to watch this particular object A. You know, object A could be a terracotta, it could be a gold pot, could be a golden fossil plate, could be any object in the museum. You should be able to predict how many people that have watched a particular object over 2 years, and that's what AI will do for you. To manage your visitor flow to a particular shelf, to a particular art gallery, AI can do that for you. And that's what the future AI can do for us in the museum. Smart city integration, where museum visits is embedded under large urban experience. So in the city, we have people coming to visit museum. So we should be able to know what it's all about when people come from larger urban centers to the museum, or from the city to the museum. So the city integration by AI, that could be achievable. Also, AI generated content, including curatorial narratives and digital reconstructions. This is very possible as this goes to museum professionals. We'll be able to create cultural curatorial narratives and digital reconstruction, or possibly we are still looking how to achieve that. I have a broken pot in my museum, and I'm trying to see how I will complete the broken parts. Now, I cannot showcase a broken part for visitors. It looks absurd. So, but with AI, I should be able to simulate that part broken up. I know the pattern is coming from side B and it's going to side A. So my AI generated content will also generate the content to fill up that space for me. And I have my whole pot again. So a digital reconstruction has been done. So even in curatorial narrative, now you should be able to tell the story of what you are saying or what is at hand, and you're able to give a wonderful view to your audience. The future lies in a hybrid museum, where the physical and digital merge seamlessly to offer richer and more accessible experience. When they merge seamlessly, wow, it sparks curiosity, it sparks rich offers, it sparks accessible experiences, even to you as a museum professionals, and much more to your visitors. It's very, very important. These are a few of the future outlook we look for in the next future time. In conclusion, I want to mention these 3 factors that shapes the future museum. And the first one is this: inclusivity. When you as museum team, your professional, your IT staff, your everyone museum, every museum guy working in museum, engaging your visitors too, engaging your community while everybody is included. So the moment your museum is not including the section of the museum, there's a problem. If your museum is not including your visitor, now you're not going to be part of the future museum. So it's very important we get engaged with ourselves and include everybody. And how do we include everybody? The community, the host community, the community that has chunks of your museum objects. And there are so many objects in our museum today that even the community never knew it was there. They never know. The moment you create that contact with them, I want to know there's a particular object here, will you come for it? I'm pardon me, I will mention this. There's a project called Rethinking Relationship right there in Liverpool. We are part of it, University of Ibadan, and we're able to we are bring on board to come and relate the objects, to tell us the story and to identify. That's wonderful community engagement. So if you want to be part of the future museum, get yourself involved, get the community involved. And who's this one? The audience need a personalization. You personalize them when they come visiting, and that's the end product of all we are talking about. So the end product remains personalization for your audience. It's very important. So, and with all these 3 points I just mentioned, wow, you are part of the future museum. So AI and smart technology are redefining how we can think about a museum from spaces of passive observation to a dynamic learning ops. It has changed from a static figure of objects and on a stand in a shelf in a gallery, waiting for someone to just look and pass. No, it's now to a dynamic learning hub. So it's very important we adopt this idea because we want to engage the future visitors in the museum. So our takeaway today: 1, museum must prioritize personalization, accessibility, and interactivity. It's very important. I'll take that again. Our museum, your museum, my museum. Yeah, I'm in a museum. Yeah. So we must personalize, we must prioritize personalization, accessibility, and interactivity. With who? With the visitors. 2, smart technology should align with institutional value and visitors' needs. I just mentioned that before, but I want to emphasize that. The core value of the institution, your smart technology must align with it and must meet your visitor needs. And I will mention the last part here: ethical considerations are vital for suitable digital transformation. So you must give a thought, a big consideration for your ethical consideration are vital so that you can sustain each free digital transformation. I want to say I have done my reference, and I want to say thank you all for listening to this webinar. I hope you have learned 1 or 2 things. I want to open myself to any question. If there is any, please let me know. Thank you very much for your time.
Gabriel, thank you so much for your insightful and exciting presentation, and I certainly love the passion. Now, folks, if there's questions for Gabriel, please put them in the Q&A, and Gabriel will be around and we'll get all the questions asked and answered just as soon as possible. Right now, it's my pleasure to introduce our second guest speaker, Peder Nelson, who serves as the Digital Engagement Manager at the Museum of Flight in Seattle. And Peder brings over 13 years of experience at one of the world's premier aviation museums, where he's been instrumental in developing and curating exhibits that blend history with cutting-edge technology. In his role, Peder leads the design and implementation of digital interactivities, and he is the museum's coordinator and developer of virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality experiences. His innovative work ensures that visitors of all ages can engage with aviation history in immense and measurable ways. Beyond his digital expertise, Peder also supports the Museum of Flight's formal oral history program as a videographer, helping to preserve and share the stories of aviation pioneers and enthusiasts. His commitment to community engagement extends to his work as adjunct curator of musical history at the Log House Museum and his years of service with Southwest Seattle Historical Society, where he has held several leadership positions. Peder holds a master's degree in musology from the University of Washington and a bachelor's degree in Pacific Northwest history. He is certified in the Director of Visitor Studies which underscores his dedication to understanding and enhancing visitor experience. So as our time is a little short, I'd like to welcome Peder, and I hope that we can all enjoy his presentation today as well. Thank you, Peder.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that introduction. Absolutely. And Gabriel, fantastic. Thank you so much for that presentation. Much of the AI considerations that you have described are definitely what we are facing at the Museum of Flight. And I will do my best to share our experience and the challenges and opportunities that we are looking at with embracing new technologies, even for a museum such as ourselves, which is an aviation and aerospace technology. It's certainly a young history, but something that we are engaging with daily. So I would be happy to share my screen and share some slides. And thank you to Pigeon-Tech for bringing me in on this. So does everybody see my slides?
Yes.
Here.
Yes.
All right. So yes, my name is Peder Nelson. I am an exhibits developer and digital engagement manager at the Museum of Flight. And I'll just give a quick introduction to the museum and just, again, those challenges and opportunities that we are looking at when it comes to embracing AI technology and smart technology for our audience engagement. An introduction to the museum. We are the largest independent nonprofit air and space museum in the world, located on King County Airport, International Airport here in Seattle. We have over 175 aircraft and spacecraft on display. We have tens of thousands of artifacts in our collection, as well as millions of primary source materials within our archives and our library. We have many dozens of exhibits and experiences over our 600,000 square foot campus, and we receive over 500,000 visitors annually. When it comes to exhibit design and development, there are definitely some challenges that we face as a museum. One, and much of this was touched on by Gabriel, the idea of us being an information provider, the public trust that is instilled on the museum to maintain that information. Another main aspect of challenges is providing access to our artifacts, our collections, our information, our aircraft, while at the same time preserving such things. We have very large artifacts, large spaces, and we have a small staff of content developers to help interpret that content. We embrace accessibility standards, and we welcome a general audience to our museum, which we need to make sure that information is accessible to a general audience. We deal with highly technical information. We deal with a lot of engineer information, different jargon, complex concepts of space flight and aerospace. And then we also have the facing of the challenging of adopting and upkeeping new technology, especially when it comes to digital interactivity. Some of the examples of interactives that we provide at the museum that we've been working on, especially when it comes to smart interactivity and engagement, has been in the use of touchscreen interactivity in the exhibit spaces and at our large artifacts, providing access to our large artifacts, as well as access to databases and information that we provide. Some challenges in that digital interactive design is, again, the adoption of new technology, identifying the right tool sets and different systems that will best provide that digital access to our audiences. The living in Seattle, a technology-based city, there is the software coding costs, the creation of that, the use of our resources to be able to create interactivity and make sure that it's up to date. There's definitely visitor expectations for that digital interactivity that we're aware of and that we are trying to be able to create sustainably. There's definitely a competitive market within the Seattle area. And ultimately, we're in it for the long game. And so a lot of our interactivity, we try to provide technology that can last for a long time. And so we also face those as challenges within our interactive design. We are creating new digital exhibits actively. Our team is currently working on mobile app development to provide smartphone activity, interactivity. We do 3D scanning of the interior of our aircraft using Matterport scanning to create 360-degree tours of the interiors of our aircraft that are inaccessible to our audiences. We've been embracing RFID point of contact systems. As you can see in this photo, I am currently 3D scanning our artifacts and models. We do create virtual reality and AR access internally for those access points. We are also actively, constantly digitizing our vast collection of primary resources. And we also have the opportunity to do research and development of AI interactives. We have done a handful of AI interactive development, but we have not yet implemented any of them onto into our audience engagement at this time. When it comes to opportunities of AI in audience engagement, we definitely recognize much of what Gabriel has talked about. One of our main points right now when we're introducing AI is the idea of accessibility, the idea of utilizing AI technology to help support access by all abilities, focusing right now on voice recognition, translation, and text-to-speech to help provide access to all the information that we are presenting in our interpretation of our artifacts. We are also working on access to our digital collections and our databases, utilizing AI support. We're also looking at visitor companion and personalized experience initiatives with AI as well, especially in wayfinding. We have a very, very large confusing campus as we've grown over the decades. And so we're definitely looking at AI to help support how we help our visitors and audiences navigate our spaces. And then we are also recognizing that we are in a position, especially as a museum and as a technology museum, that we are able to also inform our audiences about AI, the use of AI, and the opportunities within that space. And then, of course, at the final, we are really thinking about that ease of content development. With a small content development team, we are looking at that workload support of being able to generate content. But there are definitely some challenges when it comes to the use of AI when we are looking at that. As Gabriel mentioned, there are definitely some ethical concerns, and there's the public perception of AI at this time. We are very aware of that. And again, as mentioned, we are really interested in the use of being able to educate on AI use. We are dedicated as a trusted source of accurate information. And one of the key things is maintaining the trust of the public of our use of and how we interpret that information. The accurate information aspect is much of the new technology that the museum is focusing on, especially in innovations around aerospace and space travel. We are actively collecting information as it's being gathered. And so this is not something necessarily that an AI can scrape a website to get information. We are the primary source of that information. So we need to identify the best ways to curate and write the history as it's being created. As that's part of that highly detailed living history. We also have to make sure that we preserve our digital collections. So our collections that we are digitizing, we need to also make sure that we are focusing on the preservation of that born digital content. And then, of course, finally, is the slow rollout of new technology for audiences. We need to be very thoughtful in the way that we present and for the long game, present technologies. So that's definitely it's an iterative program that we need to be very aware of. One of the key things that I wanted to point out is that as a museum, we have a wonderful opportunity to engage with audiences on the floor, basically presenting this new technology and getting their feedback, doing experimentation in AI in that iterative small win way. We can experiment with facilitated experiences to learn from our audiences of how they engage with AI and what their feelings are around it. We also have identified educational opportunities, connecting with our communities, making sure that we are creating inclusive experiences, as well as engaging with university students in Seattle and around the world who are leading people coming into this technology role, new technologies, engaging with them on bringing in, using the museum as a really great test bed for new innovations in technology. And through those facilitations and working with our subject matter experts, our docents, those who are engineers, all of those who work in the aerospace community, it is great to see that they do not perceive AI as a threat to their learned experiences or their ability to help support the continued gathering of information and sharing of that information. So it's really great to see that from our testing as well. So in conclusion to what we've been finding, that museums do need to set up policies and statements of dedication to the ethical use of the technology. But this is not to hinder or deny innovation. We want to develop engagement standards that can help focus the innovation that we are seeing with AI. So in itself, that the engagement and the standard creations around this new technology can also help the innovation around AI in general. And then, of course, museums can be trusted spaces for research and development of new technology, recognizing our place to be able to provide access to this new technology it's a fantastic opportunity. So yeah, that's basically where we are at this point. Again, thank you very much for having me and for listening. And again, Gabriel, thank you so much. You've really touched on a lot of our considerations as well. Thank you.
You're good.
Thank you both so much. We're trying to have a little Q&A section now. So if the audience has some questions, please put them in the chat while we have Gabriel and Peder here, and they could address your questions right away.
Michael, we have a question for Gabriel. The question is, how much visitor data should museums collect to improve AI-driven engagement? And how do we protect user privacy?
All right, I will start from where you stop. Privacy is very important engagement. We are trying to work on digitizing some of our objects here in Nigeria, and we received MOU from the concerned client. We need to first of all understand how what intake of the MOU. So that's the first way to understand protection of your data, to your objects in the museum. Or these objects are cultural sensitive material that should not be exposed to understand MOU in which we have to understand who owns the rightful owner of the object and how that will be protected in near future. So there must be a documented MOU stating the limit and the boundary of either AI-driven smartphone-driven technology, that it will not originality or the copyright or intellectual property of such objects will not be lost. So it's very important, and it should not affect the community, the real owner of the object. So that's very important. Now, talking about the first question, that's how does AI reflect on the audience, if I get that? Anthony?
Yeah.
Is that not the question?
That was the question. How much visitor data should museums collect to improve AI-driven engagement, and how do we protect user privacy?
Yeah, I've mentioned the user privacy. Talking about the how does AI reflect on engaging the visitor? I think I've mentioned that in one of my slides, talking about making them to have engagement, inclusivity with the objects, letting them see how beautifully accessibility to the objects. It's not that you have an object or you have a cultural material in the museum and it's limited to the museum alone, but you are giving a holistic view, telling the right story of the object and letting the people understand the holistic story of the object. So, however, the museum, the AI rather, can also give access in tour guiding the audience on their smartphone. It can also serve as accessibility 24/7. So I think, let me stop there if I've hit the point. Anthony?
Yeah.
Have I answered the question?
Yeah. Thank you, Gabriel. And we have another question for Mr. Peder. Can smart technologies deepen emotional engagement with the exhibits, or it risks replacing human interpretation?
That is a really great question. I appreciate that. I believe that the smart technologies can deepen emotional engagement, especially when providing that access, those access points to real personal stories, those primary resources that we have access to. When we're able to create experiences and interpretation, access to that digital collection, especially in that personalized aspect, there's such a vast amount of information that we're providing, not just in our exhibit spaces, but also our deeper collection that just never gets out on the floor. When we're able to identify using smart technology and AI to help navigate through all of those digital resources, especially to someone's interest, we have so many great opportunities of ways of connecting that human interpretation. What it does require is the continued, much like Gabriel mentioned, the idea that there is a human behind that information. There is a human who is curating that content, who is helping write that history as it's being made, to collect that information, and that there is that human point behind that that smart technology access. So I believe that it will allow us to even create more emotional experiences versus that static experience that hopefully someone will run across. Because again, we have a very large space. We have a lot of information to share, but it can be that personal, emotional engagement moment with smart technology. And it will not replace our docents and subject matter experts who are on the floor. We will always have a human there to engage with.
We have another question for Gabriel. Can you please clarify what you refer to as personalization when discussing the future of museums?
Right. Can you say that again?
Can you please clarify what you refer to as personalization when discussing the future of museums?
Okay. Well, I will make it simplified. That has to do with the visitor. You are on a smartphone and you want to visit a museum. A question came up, prop up. Where do you want to visit? And you said you want to see pottery, you want to see fossil imports, you want to see art gallery, you want to see Homo sapiens, you want to see fossil dinosaurs, you want to see, and you have picked those items. Those items, whenever you come to visit the museum, those views will be personalized to you. No, when you're visiting on the traditional museum, you just have to view at random. But before you come, using smartphone, you have personalized what you want to see. You have made that choice, you have picked it, and when you come, it will come to you. So that's one of the ways to personalize your observation or your visit to the museum. You were able to take it, you want to take your discretion to choose what you want to see. And that's become you see. Every other thing follow thereafter. But as an instance, you have that choice to personalize your view in touring the museum.
We don't have any other questions, Michael.
Well, I'd really like to thank the audience so much for joining us today. I hope that we gave some amazing content and gave you some information points that you can use to add value in your particular world. I want to thank Gabriel and Peder for joining us today. And I would like to also say that Peder is an actual client of Pigeon-Tech. And if any of you would like to know more about what we do with the Flight Museum, just ping us and we'd be happy to give you a broader explanation of that. Thank you all very much. And it's been a real pleasure working with everybody here today.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all. Okay.
Thank you all.
We're going to end the event now.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye all.
Thank you.
Thank you all.